Welcome to History Book. Imagine a world filled with dark mysteries, where shadows whisper secrets and the line between reality and the supernatural blurs. A world where the human mind explores the deepest fears and desires. This is the world of Edgar Allan Poe, a master of the macabre and one of the most influential writers in American history. In today's video, we'll take a journey through his life, uncovering the experiences that shaped his tales of horror, mystery, and heartbreak. Edgar Allan Poe was born on January 19, 1809, in Boston, Massachusetts. His parents, David and Elizabeth Poe, were both actors, but they struggled financially, moving from one town to another as they performed in various plays. Unfortunately, Poe's life began with tragedy. His father abandoned the family when Poe was just a baby, and his mother passed away from tuberculosis when he was only 3 years old. Orphaned and alone, young Edgar was taken in by John and Frances Allan, a wealthy couple from Richmond, Virginia. Though the Allans never formally adopted him, they gave him their surname, and he became Edgar Allan Poe. Growing up in the Allan household, Poe received a good education and was exposed to the finer things in life. However, his relationship with John Allan was strained. Allan was a successful merchant who had little patience for Poe's sensitive and artistic nature. Poe, on the other hand, felt out of place in the Allan household, torn between the affluent lifestyle provided by his foster father and his own growing passion for literature. In 1826, Poe enrolled at the University of Virginia, one of the country's most prestigious schools. He excelled in his studies, particularly in classical languages, but his time at university was marred by financial difficulties. John Allan provided Poe with only a fraction of the money he needed, so Poe turned to gambling to make up the difference. Unfortunately, this led to more debt, and after just 1 year, he was forced to leave the university. Desperate to make a living and pursue his passion for writing, Poe enlisted in the United States Army in 1827, using a false name and age. During this time, he published his first collection of poems, Tamerlane and Other Poems, though it received little attention. After 2 years of military service, Poe sought to leave the army by revealing his true identity. He managed to secure a discharge with the help of John Allan, but their relationship continued to deteriorate. Poe's return to civilian life was marked by more personal struggles. He moved to Baltimore to live with his aunt, Maria Clem, and her young daughter, Virginia. Poe's writing career was slow to take off, and he struggled to find steady work. In 1831, he published another volume of poetry, Poems, which also failed to gain much attention. However, Poe's fortunes began to change in 1833 when he won a literary contest with his short story, MS Found in a Bottle. The story was published in a local newspaper, and it earned Poe a small prize and some recognition. This success led to a job as an editor for the Southern Literary Messenger, in Richmond, where Poe began to build his reputation as a writer and critic. During his time at the Southern Literary Messenger, Poe became known for his sharp and often harsh literary reviews. He developed a distinct voice and style, but his personal life remained troubled. In 1836, Poe married his cousin, Virginia Clem, who was just 13 years old at the time. Their relationship was loving but unconventional, and Virginia's fragile health would later become a source of great sorrow for Poe. In the late 1830s and early 1840s, Poe's writing began to gain more recognition. He published several short stories, including The Fall of the House of Usher, The Murders in the Rue Morgue, and The Telltale Heart, which showcased his talent for creating suspenseful and eerie tales. Poe's ability to explore the darkest corners of the human mind made his stories unique and captivating. Poe's literary work extended beyond short stories. He also wrote poetry, with his most famous poem, The Raven, published in 1845. The Raven was an instant success, bringing Poe widespread fame and solidifying his place as a master of Gothic literature. The poem's haunting rhythm and melancholy tone captured the public's imagination, and it remains one of the most famous poems in American literature. Despite his growing fame, Poe continued to struggle with financial difficulties. He worked for various literary magazines, but his income was never steady, and he often found himself in debt. Poe's personal life also grew more troubled as Virginia's health declined. She suffered from tuberculosis, the same disease that had claimed Poe's mother, and her illness weighed heavily on him. The 1840s were a tumultuous period for Poe. As he dealt with the pressures of his literary career and his wife's failing health, he also faced accusations of plagiarism and conflicts with other writers. These challenges took a toll on his already fragile mental state. In 1847, Poe's beloved wife, Virginia, passed away after years of illness. Her death devastated Poe, plunging him into deep despair. Many of his later works, including the poem Annabel Lee, reflect his grief and longing for his lost love. Poe's health began to decline as he struggled with bouts of depression and alcoholism, both of which were exacerbated by his ongoing financial difficulties. In 1849, Poe's life came to a tragic and mysterious end. On September 27, he left Richmond, Virginia, for Baltimore, but what happened next remains unclear. On October 3, Poe was found delirious on the streets of Baltimore, wearing clothes that were not his own. He was taken to a hospital, where he drifted in and out of consciousness for several days. On October 7, 1849, Edgar Allan Poe died at the age of 40. The exact cause of Poe's death remains a mystery. Some theories suggest that he died from alcohol poisoning or drug overdose, while others speculate that he was a victim of foul play or even a case of couping, a form of electoral fraud where individuals were kidnapped, drugged, and forced to vote multiple times. Despite numerous investigations, the true cause of Poe's death has never been definitively determined, adding to the intrigue and mystery that surrounds his life and work. Although Poe's life was marked by tragedy, his literary legacy is one of enduring influence. He is considered the father of the modern detective story, thanks to his tales like The Murders in the Rue Morgue, which introduced the character of C. Auguste Dupin, a prototype for later detectives like Sherlock Holmes. Poe's exploration of the human psyche, his masterful use of language, and his ability to evoke fear and suspense have made him a lasting figure in both American and world literature. Poe's works have inspired countless writers, filmmakers, and artists over the years, and his stories continue to be adapted into movies, television shows, and even operas. His influence can be seen in the genres of horror, mystery, and science fiction, and his contributions to these fields are undeniable. Today, Edgar Allan Poe is remembered not just for his tales of terror, but for his deep understanding of the human condition. His works remind us of the fine line between sanity and madness, love and loss, life and death. In his brief 40 years, Poe left an indelible mark on the world, and his stories and poems will continue to haunt and captivate readers for generations to come. And that brings us to the end of our journey through the life of Edgar Allan Poe, a man whose stories continue to send shivers down our spines and make us question the very nature of reality. If you enjoyed learning about Poe's life and want to hear more fascinating stories from history, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel. We've got plenty more intriguing tales to share with you, so stay tuned for our next video.